I want you to sit with these words for a moment. I will teach you how to feel it, not to think it, not to hope for it, not to wish it, but to feel it so deeply that the entire universe bends itself to the tone of your inner vibration. Everything in your world, everything you call your life, rises from a single point, your inner feeling. What you feel as true in the depth of your being is the law by which your world arranges itself. And until you learn how to feel deliberately, consciously, and intentionally, you will continue to live by circumstances instead of creation. Every transformation begins with a single shift, not in the outer world, but in the unseen world within you. What you feel becomes the seed that enters the subconscious, and the subconscious does not question, argue, or reason. It accepts, it builds, it manifests, it creates form from the formless. And today, I want to teach you the forgotten art that every mystic, every prophet, every conscious creator has understood, the power of feeling a thing before it appears. You may believe that imagining something is enough. You may believe that repeating an affirmation 100 times will force a result. But nothing changes until your inner senses respond. When you feel from the end, when you feel the reality of the thing you desire as though it were already true, you awaken the creative center of your being. Your imagination is not a fantasy, it is the blueprint for your future. And your feelings are the energy that bring that blueprint to life. Everything you see right now, your home, your relationships, your opportunities, even your challenges are the crystallized feelings of yesterday. They are old emotions that have finally matured into form. If you want to change your life, you don't fight your current circumstances. You don't argue with them, resist them, or fear them. You rise to a new inner state, and your world must follow. It cannot do otherwise. The universe is obedient to the one who feels, not the one who tries hard, not the one who begs or pleads, the one who feels. This is the secret that countless people misunderstand. They imagine with their mind, but they doubt with their heart. They say the words, but they hold the vibration of lack. They pray for a change, but they feel that nothing will happen. And so the universe reflects the feeling, not the words, not the effort, not the wish, only the feeling. Today, I want you to understand something. Your feelings are creative forces, and you have been using them every single day, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you worry, you are creating. When you fear, you are creating. When you feel unworthy, you are creating. But when you consciously choose a feeling, joy, love, confidence, abundance, you step into your rightful power as the author of your own experience. So let me teach you how to feel it. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine one thing you truly desire, something that has meaning to you. It could be love, health, success, peace, a breakthrough, clarity, or a specific vision that only your heart knows. Do not think of it as something distant or separate from you. Think of it as something that is already yours. And now, instead of imagining watching yourself receive it, imagine being the one who already has it. Feel the shift from wanting to possessing, from longing to fulfillment. Can you feel the lightness that enters your body? Can you feel the subtle relief, the quiet joy, the inner smile that comes naturally? That is the feeling that creates worlds. That is the feeling that rewrites the script of your entire life. You do not force this feeling, you allow it. You invite it, you rest in it, and as you rest in it, your subconscious begins to work in silence, forming new paths, new experiences, new opportunities, new relationships, everything needed to bring the invisible into the visible. Most people are trapped in the feeling of effort. They try to feel something, and the harder they try, the more distant it becomes. But feeling is not effort, it is surrender, it is acceptance, it is the willingness to believe in something before it appears. If you knew that your inner world was the origin of every outer event, you would stop treating your imagination as a place of escape and start treating it as the birthplace of all creation. There is a moment in the depth of feeling where desire dissolves into gratitude. When you feel the state so deeply that it becomes natural, you no longer desire it. It simply is. And when it becomes your inner truth, the outer world rearranges itself to reflect it. This is why two people with the same actions can have completely different results. One takes action with the feeling of fear, and their actions lead to struggle, stagnation, and disappointment. The other takes action with the feeling of certainty, and their actions lead to doors opening. The outer action is the same, but the inner vibration is not. It is the inner vibration that decides the harvest. You must learn to feel the wish fulfilled so completely that you refuse to accept any emotion that contradicts it. Even if your senses show you the opposite, you must hold the feeling as the greater truth. This is not denial, this is mastery. You are not ignoring reality, you are rewriting it at the root. You might ask, what if my mind argues? What if doubt appears? Doubt only has power when you identify with it. Feel the end result more strongly than the doubt, and doubt dissolves. Feel the new state more deeply than the old habit, and the old habit loses its grip. You overcome nothing by resisting it. You overcome it by rising into a new feeling. When you feel something consistently, the universe must reflect it. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. Emotion is energy, and energy organizes matter. The inner cause produces outer effect. And once you feel something is true, you no longer look for signs, you become the sign. You no longer search for proof, you become the proof. Let me teach you the simplest method to master this. It begins with a single question. If I already had what I desire, how would I feel right now? Let the answer come naturally. Don't force it. Let the feeling flow in like a warm breath, soft but powerful. And once you feel even a spark of it, hold it. That spark is the seed of creation. The universe does not need you to feel something intensely. It only needs you to feel it genuinely. If the feeling feels distant, imagine a moment that implies your desire is complete. A phone call, a message, a handshake, a celebration, a peaceful sigh, a quiet moment of gratitude. Experience that moment as though it were happening now and allow your body to respond. When your body responds, your subconscious accepts. And once it accepts, manifestation becomes inevitable. You must feel the end long before the physical world displays it. Just as a seed knows it is a tree long before the tree appears above the soil, your inner feeling knows the future long before your senses witness it. This is the divine process woven into the structure of human consciousness. Do not wait for the world to change before allowing yourself to feel good. Feeling good is what changes the world. Do not wait for success before allowing yourself to feel successful. Feeling successful is what creates success. Do not wait for love before allowing yourself to feel loved. Feeling loved is what attracts love. You are not responding to life, you are generating it. Feeling is your greatest instrument, and you have allowed it to remain unused. You let your environment dictate your emotions, when your emotions were meant to dictate your environment. And now, you are learning to reverse the order. You are learning to take control of the one thing that has always been yours, your inner state. Everything begins with a feeling. First comes the inner harmony, then the outer alignment. First comes the inner knowing, then the outer confirmation. First comes the inner fulfillment, then the outer form. Feeling is not the last step, it is the first. You will know you've mastered this art when you can feel the end, even when nothing around you supports it. When the world is silent, but your inner world sings. When circumstances appear unchanged, but your heart is already celebrating. That is the moment creation begins. And now I leave you with this truth. Whatever you feel in the depth of your being will become your life. Feel abundance, and abundance will surround you. Feel love, and love will meet you in unexpected ways. Feel confidence, and the path before you will open. Feel peace, and everything that disturbs you will fall away. Feel the end, and the end will meet you at the perfect moment. I told you I would teach you how to feel it, and now you know. The question is no longer whether the universe will respond. The question is, what will you choose to feel? When you begin to practice this, you will notice something subtle but powerful. The world will start to respond to you in ways that feel almost magical. People will say the right words at the right time. Opportunities will seem to appear out of nowhere. Circumstances you once struggled against will begin to shift effortlessly, and you will realize that none of this was luck, chance, or coincidence. It was the natural consequence of a new inner vibration you finally learned to hold. The truth is, creation is never chaotic. It is orderly. It moves with precision. When you feel a state deeply enough, every element of your reality reorganizes itself to mirror and reinforce that state. Your relationships, your finances, your health, your environment, they all adjust like instruments tuning to a new frequency. And once the adjustment begins, you will see that everything in your world is far more connected than you once believed. You may wonder why you haven't been taught this earlier. Why wasn't this part of your education? Why didn't someone tell you sooner that your emotions were the architects of your destiny? The answer is simple. Most people do not know it themselves. They are asleep, not physically, but spiritually. They react to life as though they are powerless, as though they must wait for something external to change before they can change internally. But the awakened mind knows better. It knows that inner change precedes outer transformation, always. Imagine for a moment that you could step into the version of yourself who already lives the life you dream of. What would that version of you feel like? Confident, peaceful, free, fulfilled, grounded, loved? When you adopt those feelings now, even before the physical evidence appears, you are drawing that version of yourself into the present moment. You are collapsing the distance between who you are and who you wish to become. The feeling is the bridge. It connects the invisible with the visible, the spiritual with the material, the imagined with the experienced. You cross this bridge not by taking physical steps, but by shifting into the emotional signature of the version of yourself, who already exists in an unseen dimension of consciousness. And once you cross that bridge inwardly, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Many make the mistake of waiting for the outer world to give them permission to feel differently. They wait for money before feeling secure, for love before feeling worthy, for success before feeling capable. But this is an inversion of the true creative process. The world cannot give you what you refuse to feel. Your life can only echo your dominant state, whether you choose consciously or unconsciously. If you want to know the state you are living in, look at your reactions. Your reactions to life reveal the tone of your inner being. When someone says something unkind and you feel unshakable peace within, you are living in a state of self-worth. When unexpected expenses arise and you remain calm, you are living in a state of abundance. When you move through your day with trust instead of fear, with confidence instead of doubt, you are already shifting into a new reality, not because the world changed first, but because you did. Feeling is the language of creation, and you speak it every moment, whether you know it or not. Your emotions are instructions, commands issued to the deeper self that shapes your life. And once you understand this, you begin to choose your feelings deliberately. You no longer fall into the old state out of habit. You rise into the new state out of intention. This is not something you practice once and forget. It is a way of being. The more you return to the feeling of your fulfilled desire, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the more quickly it manifests. You are not forcing something to happen. You are allowing the truth of your inner being to express itself in form. Feeling is not a temporary escape. It is alignment. It is the recognition that your imagination is the true reality, and what you call the physical world is only the shadow it casts. When your inner world becomes rich, stable, and saturated with the feeling of fulfillment, the outer world becomes a mirror that cannot help but reflect it. There will be moments when the old state tries to return. You may feel fear, doubt, impatience. These are not signs that you are failing. They are invitations to practice. You simply return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, gently and consistently. Each time you do, you weaken the old state and strengthen the new one. You are training your subconscious to adopt a higher assumption, a higher expectation, a higher truth. And remember this, the subconscious does not respond to pressure. It responds to acceptance. It responds to the feeling that something is already done. If you can feel that your desire is already yours, the subconscious accepts it instantly. From that moment, paths open, solutions unfold, and events begin aligning in your favor. Not because you forced them, but because you became aligned with them. Now, think of a desire you once believed was too big, too distant, too impossible. Bring it into your awareness. Do not shrink it, do not question it, do not measure it against your past. Instead, measure it against the infinite potential within you. Ask yourself not whether it is possible, but how it would feel if it were already true. Let that feeling fill you gently. Let it become familiar. Let it become home. This is the beginning of transformation, not when the outer world changes, but when your inner world becomes unshakably aligned with the end you choose. As you stay within this chosen feeling, you will notice that your senses begin to adjust. The world you once interpreted through the filter of lack now appears different, lighter, more supportive. You begin to notice opportunities you once ignored. You begin to sense possibilities that were always there, but invisible to the old version of you. This shift is not forced. It unfolds naturally because your awareness has risen to a new level of perception. Your outer world is never the first to change. The first change is always within, and when the inner change reaches a certain saturation point, the outer world cannot help but catch up. It is like the moment before dawn. For a long time the sky seems dark, unchanged, but then, almost without warning, the light begins to rise. What you feel within is that rising light. You may wonder how long it takes, how long before the feeling crystallizes into form. But time is not a barrier here. Time is simply the space needed for the unseen to become seen. What matters is not the length of time, but the quality of your inner acceptance. The stronger the acceptance, the quicker the outer world adjusts. When you feel something is already done, time becomes irrelevant. The manifestation becomes inevitable. There will come a moment when you no longer chase anything. You no longer run after desires as though they are outside of you. Instead, you become the center of your creation. You realize that everything you seek is already within your consciousness, waiting for you to claim it through feeling. The chase ends. The inner claiming begins. And with this claiming comes a quiet authority, not arrogance, not force, but a gentle knowing that the universe responds to your inner state. You begin to live from this knowing. You speak from it. You walk with it. You make decisions based on it. And as you do, your life becomes a reflection of certainty rather than confusion. If you wish to accelerate this process, observe the moments where you slip back into old feelings. Those moments are not failures, they are signposts. They show you the places where your old assumptions still hold power. When these moments arise, do not condemn yourself. Simply return to your chosen feeling. The return is the transformation. Every return weakens the old pattern and strengthens the new one. You will discover that the feeling of the wish fulfilled does not need intensity, it needs consistency. A quiet, steady sense of it is done carries far more power than a brief burst of emotional excitement. Excitement fades, but calm inner conviction, sustained gently, shapes your entire world. With practice, you begin to recognize that your feelings are not random. They are intentional tools. You begin to notice that the emotional atmosphere within you is something you can design. You are no longer waiting for moods to rise or fall. You create your inner climate. As you master this, people around you will sense a change. They may not know what shifted, but they will feel it. They will feel your presence, your stability, your clarity. And because you are operating from a higher state, your interactions become elevated. You speak differently. You think differently. You respond rather than react. Your energy becomes a quiet magnet that draws the right people, the right experiences, and the right opportunities effortlessly. There will also be moments when you feel an inner detachment, a surprising calmness where you used to feel urgency. This is a sign that the subconscious has accepted your new state. You no longer feel the need to grasp or cling. You simply know. And this knowing is what brings the manifestation into form. You will begin to understand that every desire carries its own feeling. And when you inhabit that feeling, you become synchronized with the reality that matches it. Just like tuning a radio, when you tune your inner frequency to the station of your desire, you naturally receive the experiences that belong to that station. You do not create them by force. You receive them by alignment. And alignment is always an inner process. Always, as this alignment deepens, something else begins to happen. You start to detach from the old identity that was built on doubt, fear, limitation, and reaction. You stop identifying with the version of yourself who struggled to believe, who questioned every possibility, who needed proof before taking a single step. That version of you becomes a memory, not a reality. And with each passing day, you step more fully into the self that feels naturally aligned with the outcomes you once considered extraordinary. You will notice that the feeling you practice becomes the landscape of your mind. It becomes familiar, like a room you return to again and again until it feels like home. And when something feels like home within you, the world around you begins to reflect it automatically. You no longer try to bring your desire into existence. It grows naturally, like a seed planted in fertile soil. Your feeling is that soil. As you continue living in the inner state of fulfillment, the external world begins to rearrange itself with a kind of effortless precision. People shift, events shift, conversations shift, timing shifts. What once felt difficult now feels strangely smooth. What once required effort now unfolds with ease. And you begin to see that the universe was never resisting you. It was simply waiting for you to feel the truth of your desire before it could mirror it back. You will also begin to realize that the outer world is always moving, but the inner world is where direction is set. No matter how chaotic your surroundings may appear, once you hold the feeling steady, the outer world must eventually settle into alignment with it. It is like a compass pointing to a fixed direction. The moment you adjust internally, everything else begins to align with that new direction. Some people may ask how you maintain the feeling when circumstances contradict it. But that is precisely the point. You do not respond to circumstances. You create from the state you choose. You are no longer a follower of appearances. You are the one who decides which feeling will dominate. You are not waiting for circumstances to calm down before choosing a new emotion. You choose the emotion first, and the circumstances follow. This shift from reaction to creation is one of the most profound transformations you will ever experience. It is the moment you stop allowing the world to tell you who you are and begin telling the world who you choose to be. And once this shift happens, the feeling of your fulfilled desire becomes easier to hold, not harder. You will see that the more you practice feeling the end, the less power the old state has over you. Situations that once triggered you lose their influence. People who once drained your energy no longer affect you in the same way. Your sense of inner authority grows. You begin to trust your inner world more than the temporary conditions around you. This is when true creation becomes effortless. At this stage, your imagination becomes vivid. Your inner scenes feel alive. You no longer imagine from desperation. You imagine from delight. You no longer feel your desire as something fragile. You feel it as something inevitable. And when feeling becomes inevitable, manifestation is simply a matter of unfolding. You might find yourself waking up with a sense of quiet expectation, as though something beautiful is drawing nearer, even if you cannot yet see it. That sensation is evidence that your inner state has shifted. You are no longer hoping. Your subconscious is already preparing the bridge of events. You may also notice moments of deep inner calm, where nothing external can shake you. This calm is not emptiness, it is alignment. It is the silence before a creation becomes visible. And in that silence, you begin to realize that your feeling has become the dominant power within you. As this continues, the boundaries between your inner world and your outer world begin to dissolve. What you feel inside begins to appear outside with increasing speed. You will witness the gentle, exquisite dance between imagination and reality, between desire and fulfillment, between inner certainty and outer confirmation. In the end, the real transformation begins the moment you choose to feel your future instead of waiting for it. Everything you desire already exists in the invisible realm of your imagination, waiting for you to match its frequency through emotion, belief, and inner certainty. When you learn to feel the wish fulfilled, calmly, consistently, and confidently, you activate the deepest creative power within you. This is how you shift your reality. This is how you attract new opportunities, and this is how you rise into the life you were always meant to live. Your inner world is the foundation of every outer result, and the more you practice feeling the end as already accomplished, the faster your world aligns with that truth. Remember, you are not hoping for change. You are becoming the change. And when you become it within, the universe delivers it without. Use this teaching, feel it fully, and watch your life transform from the inside out.